Welcome everyone to today's workshop. The workshop will be hosted by our Director of International Sales, Dr. Melissa Cow. Without further ado, we will now pass the time to Dr. Melissa Cow for the presentation.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for coming. Nice to see you again. I hope you can see my screen here now. Yeah. So this webinar is part of a series of solution workshop. And today we're going to look into people counting and shopper analytics for shopping mall. People counting is a must-have now for most shopping malls. And when shopping malls are investing in a system like this, they would go and compare different vendors. And after they do their due diligence, quite a lot of them, like almost 90% of them, would come to us. So why would they choose FootfallCam? So one is cost efficient because we can use a hybrid of your existing CCTV cameras that a lot of shopping malls already have. So this is utilizing your existing infrastructure, become very cost efficient, as well as using our people counter because it's more specialized device. And also if you don't have CCTV or for some reason you don't want to use a CCTV. So we have the best of both worlds. And together with that, it make it very cost efficient. The second is because we provide enough data to satisfy your decision making as a landlord or a mall management and for operation and all that. So, and we have very business specific functionalities for shopping mall. And that, of course, is very easy to use for all stakeholders and easy to maintain. So this will be, as I mentioned, is a series of workshops, but today, this workshop, we're going to focus on specifically people counting for the small, mid-sized shopping malls. So we learn how they can adopt a scalable people counting solutions. So a lot of shopping malls starts with just at the entrance and then into the in-store analytics. So giving you different traffic insights, operational efficiency, and very within the budget. Following workshops, we're going to talk more about how to maximize the data value for different stakeholders from your marketing team, your leasing team, your operating teams, security, so then you can benefit from the mall-wide footfall data and also use different integration methods to your mall software and all the other tools, simulation tools for better decision making. Yeah. So, and then another webinar, we're going to look at the real world case studies on some of our large shopping malls. How are they using it for tenant analytics? How do they use those footfall data for to improve or optimize the tenancy mix, heat maps, performance-based leasing models, and all that. And the last one of this series, we're going to more going into a system design. How do you design a scalable system? So you may not on day one go on the full shebang. You might start off with just at the entrance, and then how you then go on to the different floors and the different zones, and what are the SLA options out there? How do you do after sales support and maintenance? So what are options out there, and a future roadmap? So we're going to cover this in the future workshop. So what is the main important thing for shopping malls? Of course, the accuracy, and you want to avoid undercount because shopping malls, you have a lot of traffic. So it's very important that you actually know your actual footfall. One, of course, is to justify to your tenants, to show them on there, to justify your rental, and also obviously for marketing, you want to know which marketing is effective. So our accuracy is very high, even at very high traffic area for that. And we use a fusion of multiple technologies. So this way we cross-validate each other in combining, increasing the accuracy on that. And we can also do a very large tracking area, counting all the children's and that. So let's have a look. It's a very accurate counting and high density. So this is an entrance of a mall. We have put a privacy mask on top so that it will be compliant with any GDPR or any country's data protection privacy act. Yeah. So as you can see, so we can mark a very big zone on there, and we can also see them. So we're counting everybody even when at a very high traffic. That area is a different entry and is covered by another counter. So we gray it off. This is the main one over here. So you can see it's counting everybody. And we can also count like going down an escalator. So this is going through like different floors and people like around here. It's not being counted as an in out, and they will be on there. This is as you can also see, it's a very, very wide angle. So we can count a very wide area. We can also count children. So this is an advancement from just 3D stereo vision because AI can now detect children, even very short toddler or children in a pushchair, inside the pushchair, being carried on the arms. So we can count them because shopping malls is very important. A lot of retailers, they don't want to count children because they don't have a separate buying power. But shopping malls, you want to, and you want to be able to distinguish a family group. You want to distinguish a family group, which is a 4 people with children, or is it a 4 individual 4 adults? So is a kind of a different demographic there. So what are the challenges that shopping malls are now facing? Probably people counting for shopping mall is not new. A lot of malls probably have a lot of older system, and you may still rely on the basic counters or a legacy system. So the accuracy is not as advanced as is now. So the main thing a lot of shopping malls comes to us is they lack a very accurate visitor data. So it provides very limited insight and low data confidence, and they're not using it because they don't have confidence in there. So the second is the lack of shopper demographic and their behavior. Now, this is important because without this, you can't decide what your tenancy mix should be. Should I have more young people kind of fashion, or should I have more family-based entertainment? And maybe I should have more toy shop if I have more family group coming in. So without this, you can't do that. And because of that, then they're not utilizing the data as much as they like or they should be. You've invested in a system without having all those additional insight, then you may not use so much. So with more zone level analytics, then you can get your marketing team or your layout team, so you can optimize your layout, your different campaign, and you can also check a tenant's performance. And it is part of the IT and digital transformation initiatives. So they may require more cloud-based solution that are scalable and to be able to integrate with other systems. So on this, so we're going to discuss how we can provide a solution to that. So now a full mall analytics, of course, you don't have to have it all the full shebang on day one. A lot of malls starting with just at the entrance. So with that entrance, you know your peak hour, your trend, you also know your demographic of who comes in, and also you get your whole mall occupancy. So you get that. But you can have it from the mall entrance to the shops by adding additional like on the different floors. If you put it at escalator, zone, or the different shops, footfall going around the corridor to the different shops, and also even amenities like your toilets and your lounges and so forth. So where can you place the devices? So the first thing usually is at the entrance. And with these, we do suggest a Pro2 or Pro1 combination because these are putting it on the ceiling with a top-down view. So like those that we have shown you just now, even when you are packed, you won't have problem with occlusion, like one person behind another person, and so it's being blocked. So with a top-down view, you wouldn't have that. So usually you would put a Pro2 on there. Floor occupancy, you put it at escalators or your lifts. Zone. So this one usually you can use a Pro1, of course, because it's very wide angle, or use a CCTV, and as well as your aisle storefront conversion. You can use your CCTV as well, amenities, and in front of a retail shop. So what I'm going to touch on the hardware now. So let's look at what hardware you can pick and mix to put in your shopping mall, and what are the which one you would use at which area. We have a data sheet here, so you can have a look. So all the technology we have there, and you can also look at what ceiling height, if you put it on, what kind of coverage that you can get. So it can go up to 6 meter height with this Pro 2. On a ceiling, and that's the coverage area you can get. As you can see, we'll probably be one of the widest coverage. We're usually about 3 times wider than our competitor. So let's have a quick look on this. All these links are on the slides we will share after the webinar, so you can have a look at that. So we have feed a lot of different technology on there, providing a very powerful processor for AI analytics. We have a neural processing unit in there, a GPU in there, and a very powerful CPU for that. So you can have just one device, you can have multiple application. You obviously find your footfall, how long they stay, outside traffic, demographic, in-store path, and all those stuff, exclusion as well. On there, we have 3 technology on board: the stereo vision, the AI depth view, AI video analytics on there. So combining the 3, our accuracy is unmatched. It's very, very high accuracy, even in very challenging situation. We have 3 times wider coverage, so these reduce your cost, of course, because you need to use less devices. As you can see, that's a very wide entrance, and you have lots of metrics and functionalities in there: visitor count, demographic, your visit duration, and group counting as well. All of those, and it's optimized for different environment: low ceiling, wide entrance, low lighting condition, strong sunlight shadow, and it can also have an AI environment detection on there. So when you have a low brightness detector, or when you have a blockage, when you have signage on top, or when you have refurbish in your environment and change, we detect all those automatically. Again, obviously, aluminum casings, not a cheap plastic, very good heat dissipation, and a splash-proof enclosure. So if you have a leak on the ceiling, then you don't have to worry about it. All this will obviously increase the lifetime of the device. And we have seen there, so we can detect even when very high density crowd. So what can you get? So you can get your footfall, visit duration, your peak on peak, and also look at who your visitor are. Let's have a look at this video. We share it there as well. So we can do group counting. So as you see, then if it's the same group we consider, then we put them in a different color on there. And you can see also the male, female, age group, and also this is obviously a teenager. That's an adult, a male adult. You can see them. This is a different group. So adult with a child, they're considered in a family group. So you can look at that. So that's another group. Even when they're going out, we are also doing the group counting. Yeah. So where can you put it? So the use cases of where you would put a Pro 2, usually we say Pro 2 is our backbone. So it is the best. It has got all the 3 different technology on board, very powerful. So we would say you put it at the most important area, and the one that have the highest traffic. So usually at your main entrances. Yeah, and this provide very accurate counting on there for real time occupancy as well. With all those peak visitor trend and your demographic. Sorry. So you can then obviously adjust your entry point, if you should put digital signage here, advertising, so you can security deployment, so you can make all those plan. And then on the floor level as well, you probably will put it there so that, again, you probably have very high traffic. So you want to measure movement between the floors and your crowd distribution between your different levels, optimize your energy usage on there, and help your deploying your operating team to where it's crowded, and then you obviously deploy your customer service staff there, security staff, or your cleaning staff. Yeah, so that. So another hardware is Centroid. So this one can give you in-mall analytics with your existing infrastructure, your CCTV that you already have. So you can work with your existing CCTV. You can also work with our Pro1 or our Pro2. So for example, here, if you look at another video, so your CCTV, put it at an angle, typical angle there. So we can count people walking up and down this corridor, people sitting down there. And we can also draw counting lines to the shops that are in view. And then we can see if people go in and out of there. We also measure like how long they stay in this area. So we count passerby as well as how long people are sitting there, because obviously these are so you can decide whether or not you want more sitting area, if you want a kiosk here, so forth, and and also obviously then see, and you see people going in there. So if I show you again, if you notice, this line actually blink, and this is when we are actually counting, when you have more. So here you can have 3 more stores that you can count them. So if they're not going in, it's actually not counting, not blinking. So you can see that. So that, and here, this is a kiosk there. Then you can also measure if anyone engage with here. So you can set a threshold. If people spend less than 1 minute or 3 minutes, then they are merely passing by. And also at a corner here, likewise. So if anyone go down the escalator, turning around here, your kiosk. So a lot of your CCTV can be utilized to give you data like this. Yeah. And so where would you put them? So you can use the CCTV that you already have. So like for the different floor, aisle, into retail shop, and also like your washroom. So you want to know when you should wash your washroom, or your lounge, or your like other amenities like prayer rooms and things like this. Yeah. So we have one more device, which is a Pro1. So Pro1 is a sister device. So it's like an IP camera, but with a fisheye lens, and it can pair with either Centroid or Pro2. So very versatile. And so what you could do is like in an area that you do not already have a CCTV, or merely you don't want to use a CCTV, or you don't have a CCTV, and then you can use that. So we have that. So this is very economical. So like, for example, here you can cover, if you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so you have about 26 stores here. You can cover it with 4 Pro1 at a cost of $600. So you have 2 hours and 26 stores. So you can do that. It gives a top-down full coverage on there. So, so how you use the Centroid as an analytics overlay on top of your existing CCTV, and it can run parallel with your existing DVRs, your Hikvision DVR. A lot of shopping malls use that, but other DVRs as well. And you can keep your existing security focus camera intact, and which is taking a secondary stream. And the Pro1, you can use it at target area to complement for that. And you might use some of it for FootfallCam usage. So you then stream it to the Centroid. And you have some area where you actually use Pro1 that you could also stream it for your CCTV control room. So either way, so you can stream your CCTV usage to the analytics as well as the Pro1 into, that's a Pro1 into adding on top of your control room as well, if you like. So making it very, very cost effective that way. Look at some plans. So if you're just starting up, so you might just want to say, I want to look at just my footfall counting, visitor traffic, insights. And if you have 4 entrances, then you might just use FootfallCam Pro2 at a price of $650 each. So that's the price. And for that, you get people coming in, your occupancy, your shopper demographic as they come in here. Then if you want to extend to say, okay, I want to split into, so if maybe you have multiple floors, then you want to check how many that comes on ground floor actually goes on the first floor, second floor. Then you might just add additional Pro1 that are sister device to the Pro2 at a very cost-effective price of $150. So making it around 3,000, then you can get all your different floors covered and your entrances. If you then want to more extend even further with inside your mall analytics, your flow map or your different heat map on the different floor and aisles and your shops, then you can use the fourth Pro to add your entrances. You might add 2 Centroid for that, and that's the price for the Centroid. And from there, you can analyze 23 of your existing CCTV dotted around your shop, of course, because it's your existing CCTV, so there's no cost. And in an area where you don't have a CCTV and you want additional, you can add additional, like let's say 9 of it. So with these around about 6,000 or so, you would find that this is really, really cost efficient for this is how many devices here? 36. So with that, for a 36 camera coverage, is a very huge coverage on your almost all your whole store at a very good price. So let's look at what kind of data you can get. We will share all this link for a dashboard or a screenshot, so you can have a look at it as well later, or you can share it with your colleague. But let's look at. Oh, I will also have like a data sheet, obviously, for all those different device there. So let's look at this on, so you log in with your username and password. So you look at your mall. So now the first thing you look at the core metrics and overview of your whole mall. So for example, these are your headline numbers, your trend line. So this is for the previous week. The last 7 days, or your total visitor, how it's changed from the previous week, your group, number of groups that have come in, on average, how long they stay, and the breakdown of, like if they stay very short, they come in, they buy something and they left, or they really be shopping, your busiest hours and so forth. And of course, then your visitor this year compared to last year, which is the orange line, and your visitor profile. So how many come on their own in a group of 2 or a bigger group? You can then look at your different trend. So you can then zoom in, obviously move these into there, and then look at, for example, here, what happened on that day. So you have a food carnival, and then why was there a drop on there? Or there was a mall closure or something. Yeah, so you can look at that. You can also look at your visitor breakdown by floor. You can also look at it by zone, if you like, and the breakdown by the entrances. Then you can see, all right, main entrance, of course, main entrance, you have the biggest number, but the west entrance is, very, a lot of footfall as well. So you can justify, or encourage your tenant to advertise on your digital signage at the west entrance for that. So you can also look at year on year, look at it over the weekend. So you can look at what weekend, compare weekend and weekday, what is the trend, and whether or not you have different behavior, different shopper profile that come. So you can notice on the weekday, you have more individual. So they come here, or the mums that come here to do their weekly shopping in peace, compared to weekend where you obviously have more groups, and then you have young adults and teenagers as well as. So they all come in over the weekend, and maybe they have changed. They stay longer over the weekend, and by the hour. So on the last 7 days, which hour? So maybe you have something on the Thursday that really increases the footfall on that day, but otherwise your weekend, obviously, and which hour is more on there. So you can look at that. You can also look at the different zone. So if I show you there as well, the different zone, so you can have it on your floor plan or the different zone, what is their total visitor, on how long they stay there, and on average, how many people were there, the occupancy, and at your peak time, how many people are there. So you can also look at the visitor flow. So, how many people go from the middle center to the east zone and so forth. How do they move around in your area? We also have, so those are your overview for like the last week or the last day, if you like, or the last month. You can choose there. But we also have a bit more specific for the mall in different sessions, the time sessions. So for example, in here you have lunch hour. So some malls that are attached to like offices, or they're in a commercial area where you have a lot of office, you might want to see, lunch hour. What is the difference? Because the lunch hour could be a completely different shopper profile. Because they come in for lunch, you have food court for that. So you can look at the weekday lunch hour versus, the all the other time, and then you can see the visit by the floor or by the different zone as well, as you can look at. And then weekend. So this is weekend again by the different floor and zone. And so you can see if there's any difference between the lunch hour. So you can create your session. So maybe you have different sessions that you can then compare. Now then, of course, then you can also look at your heat map. So the different heat map, let me go to there. Here. So you can have a heat map on your floor plan, so your hot and cold zone. So for example, in here as well, you can also look at different time of the day. How does that heat map changes, like where your people go? And of course, then you can also look at your different zones on there. And then you can have live occupancy. So live occupancy is it's good for security because you want to know where your people are at any one time on there. So you can also look at the different floor, which is now, and then you have prediction as well, because this prediction is based on historical data, what you always have last week, this time, or last month, or last year. So with all this historical data, we can give you very accurate prediction, because now your security guard can say, okay, I'm predicting, is it going up? Is it upward trend or a downward trend? And over the different floors, you can look at that as well. So you can also look at the whole building occupancy, whether it's crowded, and you can send an alert. So you can preset a lot of rules. We have a rules engine, so you can set, like for example, if you have, occupancy is very high, and you want to send alert to security, or you have people that were in the zone, 6 people, a group there, they have been there for 30 minutes. You're wondering what they're doing, so you want to send a security guard over there. Or you see people sitting down in an area for a while, you might send customer service over there to see if they can help them. Things like this, yeah? And so you have all these alerts on there. So when it reach a certain threshold, you trigger that. Of course, then you can also look at historical occupancy data. So let's look at that. So you can look at that. So you can compare the different floors, your different mall, and of course, then different days on the different malls. So you can have a look at all those. Now, shopping mall. So so apart from all these essential metrics, we also package them into more shopping mall specialized data visualization. Like just now when I talk about by the different time session, but you can also have a different season. For example, here you have Christmas. So you can look at pre-Christmas, what is the footfall leading to pre-Christmas? Is it gradually going up, and then do you have the Christmas peak of this last minute gift present buying, and then post Christmas, what is that? So you can have a look at this year and last year, and then you can of course then look at what is the changes, and your by the floor, you by the zone, visit duration, and obviously the demographic, the age and gender over there. And you can also look at year-on-year comparison for this season. So you can create your different season, and then you're just comparing season, season. Yeah, you can do year on year just over Christmas, because when your season, your date might change a bit, but then so we can group them together. So you can see obviously that's COVID year, but on 2022, you actually have a very high peak in November. So maybe you've done something, a campaign on there, and you might want to repeat on there, and so forth. So you can look at that and your average visit duration as well. So you can compare that. Now that is over a season, so a bigger, longer period. And in your mall, you probably have a lot of event, and you might have event that runs through 3 days, or event that run on one day, or you might have multiple events that run on the same day at different time. So then this is where you can then look at the different event. So you can come here. So all these apps are here. Sorry, I forgot. I should have just mentioned. So this is in the marketing ROI here. So you can do all your event configuration, put down all your different event days there, and then you tune your module, and that's here. So just now was the season one, the Christmas one, and here the specific event, so which is only running, and you can put a comment there. So this was a food carnival. And then you want to see pre-event, during the event, and post-event, and what's its impact on that, what's the impact on your group size, your visit duration, and all the demographic, and your event might happen at one corner of your mall, but what's the impact on the rest of it? Like on your different floors. Do they come to the event, and do they go on to the upper floor? And which zone? That maybe that event was for a family event, and after that they go to zone E, which is the children's wear and toys area. So you can analyze that. Yeah. So so those are all the dashboard. We have a lot more actually. I can only show you a glimpse of some of it. But if you would like to, we can have a meeting so that you have different stakeholders. So you notice some are for operating teams, some are for leasing teams, some are for your marketing team. So you can see that we have all these different dashboards for different stakeholders. Now, what we want to come here is on top of that, we have AI training. So this is for a simulation or a prediction for that. So what we call this as a tracklets. So where each of, like for example, this is one, you have a family group. This family group have a male, female, adult, and a child, and they came in on a sunny, partially sunny day. They went to the food court first, then the cinema, then the different shops, and then they left. This is another tracklets, another family group. They came on a rainy day. They go to cinema, the shops, and the food court, and then they left. So what you have now, you have millions of these tracklets, and what you use them is to train your AI model. And the latest trend is called the transformer. So it's like ChatGPT. They learn from millions of web pages. And now this is the next generation technology, and you want to leverage on this technology. Now you have these millions of data. You can train your AI model, and you put it into a transformer, and the AI then can pick on the nuances and the subtlety of this data, because otherwise you're always getting a generic statistics. But now you can use this and see, what is your family group size? Where do they go? How long they stay? And you can give you a lot of simulation. For example, it can self-learn the attention of these nuances. And for example, let's say next Monday, the forecast is raining, but you have an event, you have a singer coming in, a top singer coming in. So you want to predict what is the data going to be. So the generative AI can generate a scenario and predict what is the customer profile going to come in, maybe a lot more young people. It can capture your shopper Yeah, the characteristics, and how many will come in, who will come in, which shop they will go to. So it gives you all these things so you can simulate them. Or maybe you're getting a new tenant coming in. So they're opening a new store in your shop. Where should you place them? Should you group the similar type of shops together, or should you scatter them around so that you disperse your footfall? So we will discuss more of this AI simulation, but I'm giving you some example of how you can do that. So you can come in and create a scenario. So you call it scenario A, and then like when it will happen. So you can have that. So let me show you a little bit more here. And then you can set up your different scenario here. So you can set your different scenario. It might be operating hours adjustment or maybe a layout change. So before you go on an expensive things to change your layout and not knowing what it will happen. So you might want to do a scenario simulation and say, if I change my layout, what would be the impact, store mix and all that. So then what you then do is then you get a simulation results and say, if you run that, your projected visitor will be that. It will increase 2.6% compared to the normal time. Yeah. And what it would be your projected sales revenue from all your stores, because you're going to bring more footfall to a certain type or your anchor shop. That's where you're going to increase that. So this like this all predicting all this footfall and projecting all that. So on your different hours. So maybe this is an extended hour. So then what kind of how many visitors will be on the different zone and engagement time, and so forth. You can also compare different scenario, A/B testing. So if I extend my hour, like 2 hour extension to the 1 hour extension, this kind of thing. So this is extending 2 hours. This is extending just the 1 hour. So what kind of impact it will be on all the footfall, and obviously operation costs as well. So it's not just increasing footfall and sales, but you would be increasing your operating costs because your staff. Is it worth it? So then you can compare out those. Yeah. So this we will discuss more about this in the upcoming webinar. Now then, what is the buying process and how we can support your buying process? We can streamline this. So normally a lot of shopping mall, they start at the key entrances, of course, and then gradually then you expand on there. We have a leaflet here, which is going to talk more about the kind of the deployment, what kind of system design, what kind of metrics they're looking for, and the use cases for different stakeholders on there, maintainability. So we have a brief leaflet here, which you can just look at. We have also other resources, like when you're at the stage of RFI, then you can, of course, then what are the things that you'll be looking at? The leadership team, who would be that, and what are they looking for, and then the technical solution overview. So we have all this and accuracy, what you should be looking for, so forth. So we have all these resources because we have already involved in lots and lots of RFI tender process, bidding, RFP. So we collate them. So it might be a very good resources that you can reference on. Some of those information, feel free to copy and paste over for that. So we do have that. Or otherwise, you can give us a call and schedule a meeting for us, and we can help you on there, because obviously everyone is different. Yeah, every mall is different. We also have tools that will help you on your planning, because your mall is big. Of course, then it's not like a retail shop. You just need one or two device. It's big, and you might want to have a proper plan on your system design, your BOM list on there. We have this tool, which is a floor plan design. So you can utilize that. Obviously obligation free. Yeah, you can use that. So for example, if I say, okay, I want to count this area, I want to add on a device there, I can then turn it around, move it over there, and then I draw a polygon. So this is the one that I want to measure the people that come into this zone. So I've set it there. I can then mark this as a different color. So let's make it pink or red. Therefore, so you can do this, and later on when you can adjust things like this, and later on when this is completed, and you will use this for your installation team, because you literally X mark the spot where to install it, your cable run and things, and then later on then you can obviously put this onto your floor plan dashboard. So you have a dashboard with your floor plan on it, and then you can then measure, and then you can display on the floor plan your data. Okay, so thank you everyone on this. That wraps up for today, but I do encourage you to come for upcoming webinar where we're going to talk more about how the different stakeholder maximize the data value on there, and we're going to do a real world showcase on a large more how they're actually using it effectively. And this is like the last one we mentioned, which is how do we design the system cost effectively, and what's the SLA after that. Yeah, I can encourage you to come to the upcoming webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Melissa, for the insightful presentation. We've covered some great points, and thank you for joining the workshop, and we will see you again next week.